Face card declined. Seriously, don't judge me. I don't care if you judge me. You can judge me all you want. This is what I look like, okay? This is my face. It's horrid. But I'm going to the gym after this, and I'll be damned if I'm one of those girls who wears makeup to the gym. If you do, that's cool. But that ain't me. God, I miss Gene Hackman. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Fat Sajak. And if you leave me now, you'll take away the biggest part of me. My fat ass. Ooh, babe. That was off key. Today's video is gonna be an interesting one, okay? It's so interesting that I'm filming it right before I go to the gym. That's how interesting it is. So make sure you subscribe and you like the video, because as far as I know, I'm the first and worst person to talk about this. 7 in the morning. Actually, it's 8 in the morning, but it's technically 7 now. I've been up for some time because the time change. It's hard on kids and stupid YouTubers. So for today's video, we're gonna start by taking a deep breath in. So if you just kindly do a little preparation exercise with me, I would greatly appreciate it, okay? So you're gonna take a deep breath in, you're gonna inhale through the nose, you're gonna exhale through your mouth, and then make a stupid sound, just like this. Ready? I'm sure you could do better, but now you try. Well, you did it wrong, but that's fine. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Follow me, if you will. Close your eyes for a moment and allow yourself to be transported back to the summer of 2023. Feel the calm in the air, the warmth on your skin, unless of course you're in Australia, in which case feel the cold hit your face, or I don't know, there's probably a big spider somewhere. You're walking around in the forest or the parking lot of a 7-Eleven, wandering aimlessly, until suddenly, quite jarringly, you find yourself tied up on the train tracks, like in those old movies. And just when you're about to be released from the cartoonish ropes that just barely tie your hands and feet together, you are struck by the train, the toxic gossip train. I want you to remember the feeling when that train first hit you, because it would go on to hit you several more times. You thought to yourself, this is gonna sting, and then a fucking ukulele comes out of nowhere, and it starts pelting you repeatedly in the head. And for some reason, you know you're supposed to be laughing about it, but it's so sinister, it's so bizarre that you physically can't. Now, before you start openly weeping, I want you to open your eyes and get a fucking grip on yourself. This is pathetic. Anyway, thanks for taking that journey with me. So, back in the summer of 2023, Colleen Ballinger had the proverbial rug covered in cat hair, and I assume piss for some reason, pulled from underneath her when a series of horrible allegations, most of which come with proof, of inappropriate behavior with children in group chats in what would technically constitute as grooming. And this occurred over the course of her decade-plus long career. And one of the loudest and most obnoxious voices during this time was a man named Johnny Silvestri. Johnny claimed that Josh Evans, who is the ex-husband of Colleen Ballinger, groomed him. But unfortunately for Johnny, he put the cart before the horse. He told way too many stories to way too many people, way too publicly, and was a little too careless with the details. And in an unexpected part of a doc by SWOOP, was uncovered that he was full of shit, essentially. So while he took the time to make himself the victim of, specifically of Joshua David Evans, it turns out he was actually kind of the perpetrator of his own story. And honestly, my theory stands that he was a plant put in by Colleen to say all the things that she couldn't say. Anyway, I digress. So after SWOOP called him out in a video, a 4-hour video, point by point, Johnny disappeared, and that was lovely. Until this came up on my YouTube homepage the other day.
Hi. Bet you didn't think you'd see me again.
I know, those were better times. Anyway, Johnny Silvestri posted a video on YouTube. Isn't that exciting? Let's go through it together. There's some serious stuff in here, but I want to talk about what's also in here. So let's look at it.
So listen, I didn't think I would be back on here again either.
Okay, so we could go back to that. That'd be okay.
But life happens, and this situation seems... It doesn't seem, it is so much bigger than me, and everything I've ever been involved in, life comes at you quick.
Life does come at you quick. Could the point come at us quick?
And in 2021, my cousin was murdered.
Oh!
Cold blood. She was shot and killed. It was because of an altercation between her, a girl named Ariana Colbert, and Ariana's boyfriend. It escalated at nighttime, and Ariana shot my cousin and killed her. To keep it long story short, there is a whole court file that's public. There's articles about it. There was video evidence, and basically she was found guilty, and she was supposed to face 45 years in prison along with 3 years of like mandatory social work and whatnot. And just this past week, Brianna's legal team, I guess, fought against the judge's ruling that this was first-degree murder.
Well, Johnny, if there was an altercation and this was a self-defense type of situation, then it wasn't first-degree murder. It was probably involuntary manslaughter or second-degree murder. There is a reason why we're watching this video. I'm not just here to dog on this guy who's talking about his murdered cousin, okay? So just stay with me.
Because they are trying to say that it was imperfect self-defense. Yes, there was a physical altercation. My cousin did ignite this physical altercation. However, when she was shot and killed, she was backing away. The fight had died down. The fight picked back up, but then my cousin had her back turned to this girl. This girl grabbed her gun from wherever it was. She dropped her gun, picked it up, pointed it at my cousin, and shot her in the back of the neck.
That's interesting, because this article about it, not that I'm trying to deny this gentleman his lived experience, but in the article that I found, which I'll link below if you want to read it, it says that his cousin was shot in the left side of her chest, and a medical examiner said she died within seconds. It also says that the perpetrator and a witness both testified that his cousin screamed at them that they were going to die, and that, quote, "You're all dead, my brothers are coming, we're going to kick down the door, and you're all dead." Ariana testified that she felt her life was being threatened, along with Hayes' life and those of his daughters. I mean, first-degree murder indicates premeditated murder. But what do I know? Anyway, let's get to the meat of this video. I'm not a true crime person.
You had that much time to drop your gun, pick it up, point it, shoot somebody, and then you want to claim it was self-defense?
How long do you think it takes to drop something?
You weren't defending yourself from anything, and the whole court's perception of this imperfect self-defense is basically when someone defends themselves but they don't have a good explanation as to why. It's a first-degree murder loophole. It's an abusive legal loophole in our system, and it's bullshit. My cousin was 19 years old. Ariana wants freedom. She wants to experience a life she so quickly took away from my 19-year-old cousin in a fit of rage. She knew what she was doing. So it wasn't premeditated. But baby girl, apparently Ariana and her boyfriend were sleeping. You stay strapped In bed?
Have you never been a woman? You just said yourself it wasn't premeditated. I don't even know why I'm commenting on this part of it. I think I only want to leave this part in because I want the crux of this to be, I want you to see where the crux of this video lies and where my issue with this shit lies, because it is interesting.
Who sleeps with a gun on them? And apparently they were expecting Akari to come. I'm not buying it.
Okay, but you just said that your cousin instigated the altercation.
Yes, there was a physical altercation. My cousin did ignite this physical altercation.
Johnny, when you tell stories, I'm gonna need you to keep them all straight. Like, this is what bit you in the ass the first time. I don't think you're doing a service to the case with this. It's all very contradictory.
I'm not at all. It just, I'm angry, I'm upset. There are so many flaws with our legal system, and this just hits too close to home, and I can't stay silent.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm very intimidated by this platform. There is clearly a lot I've been involved in.
There it is.
And I took a major step back, and through my process of healing, I really didn't feel the need to come back and explain myself.
You didn't feel the need to come back and explain yourself? You know, quite honestly, if I had been groomed and I stood on that and I was very, very adamant about the horrible things that have happened to me and the things I'm just now starting to process, and how similar my story was to Adam's, and how similar my story is to Becky's and Oliver and Ella and Alex and all of them, and how horrible the Ballingers are, and how horrible Corey DeSoto is, and how horribly I was abused and treated. And then someone came out with a documentary that's 4 hours long, disproving damn near everything I had to say. I would have a lot to say, personally. I would have a lot to say. I would be on my platform screaming my truth, the truth, and you'd never be able to unhear it. Seems kind of weird that the buck stops there if you know you're telling the truth.
In any type of way, because I spoke the truth, and shitty people took advantage of me and made me the bad guy.
Girl, you usurped every conversation to make it about yourself with actions and accusations that were provably false. And you did yourself a disservice, if they were true, by not providing SWOOP with the information she was looking for to help you, by not answering questions pertaining to these things that would exonerate your involvement in them at all. You skirted the issue. You tried to make every situation about yourself, and you fell on your ass because you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't pretend to be a victim in a sea of real victims, especially with somebody who makes thorough fucking videos with a team.
And that's life. It happens. I was playing on a big field.
It happens. No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen. This is not an it happens kind of situation. No, it doesn't. Not to most people, it does not.
And what happened, and I can't change it. But what I hope I can do is use the platform that I could potentially still have on here. There are a lot of people who still follow me, and if I can use that for good, I want her to remain justified.
It's so cute the way you just kind of like snuck all that in. These should have been two separate thoughts. You know, you want to talk about your cousin. First of all, I think you're doing a disservice to the case if this were to see any sort of virality or whatever. I think you're doing an injustice to your cousin And to this case, with the lack of clarity on the details, that's not helping anything. Also, making these comments about yourself and the things that happen, because, like, frankly, the way that he talks about his situation only says to me, I didn't say anything because I got busted. Like, you're never going to be able to, unless you came with every single receipt of these things happening for sure. Even then, at this point, you've lost all credibility. You've lost all credibility. And thankfully, your actions, your lies, your exaggerations, your inconsistencies, thankfully, that did not go so far as to discredit stories like the ones from Adam, Becky, Oliver, Ella, Alex, all of them. Because you really could have fucked these kids over. I understand Johnny felt slighted. I understand he probably felt like he was rejected in some way by Josh. I understand that he maybe didn't get along with Corey. I can understand those things. But to take that and try to usurp the whole story, to make it about himself, to put him on the same playing field as what happened to Adam, to put himself in that situation, to make himself the mouthpiece for this whole thing, was vile.
I want all of her loved ones to remain justified, and this just feels anything but just. I started a petition. I'm going to do whatever I can do to fight and advocate for her, because I know she'd do the same for me. I hope people watch this with an open mind and an open heart. It's not for me at all.
You know, the funny thing about having to say that it's not for you, it usually is. It sure does seem like a real soft way to re-enter the space, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I think it does.
It's for her. It's for her family. It's for her friends. I can't not do anything.
Right. Aren't you her family, though? You said she was your cousin. So doesn't that technically mean it's for you?
And if I'm gonna come back and use this platform, I feel like this is a pretty damn good way to use it. I will include links to the petition. It's just through change.org. My cousin's name is Akari Triner, Akari Triner / Ingram. And she wasn't perfect, but she had an extremely good heart. And anybody who knew her in real life knows that this whole overturn ruling is bullshit. And
that doesn't make any sense. Everyone that knows her in real life knows that this case being overturned is bullshit. He really just says stuff to say stuff.
I just want to try and do my part to fight for her, because I know, again, she'd do the same for anybody. So I'm not going to talk about anything mentioned of the past. This video is from my cousin and my cousin only.
But like, if you really want me to, just leave it in the comments.
And yeah, if anybody is still listening, God, thank you. I appreciate it, and I don't know, maybe you will see my face again, maybe you won't.
Depending on how well this is received, which I suspect he anticipated would be not good, considering the comments are disabled.
But I'm doing well. I hope everybody else is, and I hope 2025 blesses you all.
Oh yeah, it's been a real blessing.
And I hope the people who deserve theirs get theirs.
Oh, well, there's a statement you could take only one way. So we learned some interesting things here. That's life, it happens. Wow. It's such an interesting statement from someone who antagonized a famous stranger. Like, it feels, and maybe this is just me reading into this and knowing how slimy this motherfucker has been, but like, using your platform to advocate for justice for your cousin, okay? That's one issue. In the middle of this video, talking about vaguely talking about how some pieces, how some shitty people held you accountable. And having that be just sort of tucked in the middle of this advocacy for your cousin feels really gross, no? Am I reading too much into it? It is kind of like bringing a ukulele to a serious allegations fight. I have a lot of problems understanding pretending like you're innocent unless there's a small string instrument and a jaunty tune behind it. Given what I know about Johnny, and I did rewatch SWOOP's docs yesterday, which you need a whole day for that. I rewatched her docs and how incredibly slimy and gross, and I don't know, it's just off-putting how awful it is to watch somebody like, oh yeah, me too, I was totally a victim, like I was the bigger victim. Like, what a weird return from like somebody who it feels like is trying to come back to a platform, garnering sympathy while doing so. Between you, me, and Wall, and the other 36,000 of you, I think it's really interesting that Colleen takes a break from the internet and then this slimy motherfucker shows up. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't apply here, but it is a saying. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are about this video. I apologize if I came off insensitive about the murder of his cousin. I don't mean to. But putting their personal things or the shitty thing they want to say or whatever, sandwich it right in between all the things that you can't really criticize because they're real things that affect real people, even, and it makes it difficult to criticize them. So anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna go do millennial things like ride my bike until it's dark out and drink from the hose. No, that's Gen X. Although I drank from a hose or two. Ew, you're gross. I brought the Red Bull up and I didn't drink it at all. I was supposed to be drinking this the entire time. By the way, the pink Red Bull, this one, Wild Berries or whatever, 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10. And I can't drink Red Bull because it doesn't give me wings, it gives me panic attacks. I gotta go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Not recommended for children. Why?
And that's life. It happens. I was playing on a big field.
Stop it. Get some help.